All right. Thank you everyone so much for joining. Today we're going to be talking about getting over your fears, specifically with like posting and also like just fear of rejection in general with the business. And then also what to post about on your Facebook. So I know a lot of the time people, when they get started with their Beachbody business, they're like, oh no, what are people going to think of me? What if I post too much and people are going to be annoyed by me? What if people say no if I'm inviting them to something? And just they have this overall general feel of, being scared of being rejected. So, what I have to say about that is I absolutely felt the same way when I started. But number one, you don't want to stop your dreams based on what somebody else expects of you. Um, Usually, that someone else isn't even relevant in your life. They're not someone that is contributing towards your overall well-being, and they're not someone that even really matters to you personally. Um, so I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but you just have to let that person go. You got to eliminate that person. If they're going to blatantly be I mean, I'm not talking about like, oh no, this person said no to my challenge group invite. I'm talking like an outwardly negative person that is saying bad things about your posts or whatever. Get rid of them. Um, because if you think about it and you do like the basic math of it, um, what, 5 people out of maybe 1,000 people are gonna outwardly be negative towards you. They're gonna write on your wall, or not your wall, but like maybe they'll make a comment on something saying, oh, whatever you're doing is, pyramid scheme or something. So you'll get like 5 of those people out of the thousands of people that are actually supporting you. You might not even know that they're supporting you, but they're following you, they're watching your post, and they're being supportive in their own way. So who cares about those 5 people, that you're going to get out of all the other people that you're helping to make a difference in their life? And they're really the unusual ones, those 5 people that aren't, yeah, and I'm just kind of making up that number. I don't know for sure, like the statistics of it all. But so what, those are the weirdos, right? Those are the people that are going to be judging you based off something that they don't even really know about. They're ignorant about what you're involved in, and they just don't know. So, and usually that has to do with something that is with that person, like they're insecure about maybe where they are in life, and they are scared to see someone else's accomplishments. They don't want to see other people succeeding or excelling in what they're doing, so they're going to outwardly like make you feel bad because they feel bad about themselves. So you have to realize that people that do that are just feeling crappy about themselves, and they really probably, you know, are the ones that need a challenge pack or need to be involved with Beachbody. But just know that it's not something that you're doing that's bad, which is making these people think negatively. Um, so as I said before, like those people, they don't add value to your life. Let them go. Erase that negativity out of your life, forget them and move on. And this is assuming that they're not family, obviously. If they're like your dad and they're super like, oh, what are you doing, like I can't even support this, that's a different story. But let me tell you about that with me. Like when I first started, uh I didn't even tell my husband about the Beachbody opportunity. I just told him that, hey, you know, I want to get this Shakeology and I freaking like have to do this for myself. And he didn't want me to do it because he didn't want to spend the money because we were broker than anything you can imagine. And anyway, he gave into that. He supported that and he's like, all right, I'll pay for it. But I didn't want to tell him about uh, the business opportunity because I had tried Mary Kay in the past. I failed miserably with it. I was not happy doing it. I felt like I was just selling people on something that they didn't really need. And it just wasn't for me. And after that, I didn't feel like he would be supportive because I swore to myself I would never get involved in any kind of network marketing ever again. um, Needless to say, this is so different. So I'm very glad that I did do it, but he wasn't supportive in the beginning. And now, you know, because he saw how much I was changing internally, you know, he loves what I'm doing. And he also doesn't complain when the money comes in. That's always a plus. But also my dad, I remember I was so nervous to tell my dad about what I was doing in the business. And I never even wanted to call it a business. I'm like, okay, like whatever. Like this isn't like a business. Like I'm not going to go around telling people that. Well, it is. But I know the hesitations of, you know, outwardly saying on Facebook or whatever, like blah, 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 my business, because it's scary. Like people, you know, you don't know what people are going to think about that, but you got to learn to just screw what other people think, you know? But back to my dad, he my dad's very judgmental and he doesn't support a lot of things unless he would do it himself. He's just that kind of person. And I remember when I first told him about you know, that I was coaching and um you know, that I started up my little business, he was like, "Oh, so it's one of those he didn't say pyramid scheme, but he said, I don't know, he said something else along those lines." And I was like, oh, like, you know, and this is like, I think this was after I even got Diamond, you know, and I'd been hitting Success Club 10, like, and even like that jab to me, it was like, oh, like the fact that someone thinks that I would be involved in something that uh, is, I don't know the word for it, trying to scam people or whatever. Like that's not what it is. So when someone thinks that about me, especially my dad, I was like, oh my gosh, like, and that put a jab in my heart because it made me feel bad. But since then, my dad has actually signed up as a discount coach with me and he's drinking Shakeology every day. And I actually now have explained the business a little bit more to him, and he allows me to use his coaching account to better my business, you know, and he knows that I'm making money doing this. He knows that it's legitimate and he knows that I'm helping people. It's not some kind of whatever the hell people think. Um, so just because your family might not be supportive now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to become supportive. So don't let that get in the way either. Another thing I want to say is, where would this world be if some of the very positive influences in our society stopped because of haters? Like, just think about that. Like, any influential person in this society, they all had haters. I mean, so what? If they given up, like, what would have happened? You know, like, our world would be in such a different place. So, um, just because you're yourself, you know, you have to realize that because everyone's different personality, you're not going to please everyone. You're not always going to get everyone to agree with every one of your posts. That's just not going to happen. You know, you have to realize that there will be times that people don't agree with you. And you just got to take it for what it is. Anyone who has ever had any level of success has always come across the haters, those 5 people out of 1,000 people, that don't want to be supportive. They've all have gone through that. So don't let negative judgments that other people place on you influence your destiny. Bring it back to your why. Like, realize what's really important. Why did you get involved with Beachbody? Why? Why is it important to you? You have to emotionally disconnect from the negative consequences, right? I mean, and consequences, I'm talking about rejection. Emotionally disconnect from that, and realize why you're doing this for your life, right? So for me, it was so important to me to be able to contribute financially to my family, because I felt like, even though I had a very hard job being a stay-at-home mom, I felt like I had to do something else. I had to help my husband. I had to take the burden, or some of the burden, off of him. And I needed to feel like I was doing something more in my life other than being a mom. I didn't want being a mom to be the only thing in my life that was important. I needed to have something else. So because I realized why it's so important for me to do this, it was easier for me to emotionally disconnect from those other people, because I need to be emotionally connected to why I'm doing this. Just think about, like, if your kid was, in a burning building, right? You're going to be afraid as hell, maybe if your kid wasn't there, to go running into that building. But because something that's important to you is there, you're not going to think twice about risking your life to go save your child. So it's kind of like the same thing. I mean, obviously, like, nothing life threatening, but think about why this is important to you, and be emotionally connected to your why, and not everyone else's, like, rejections of you, because they're not really rejecting you. What it really is, it's a rejection of themselves, and they, like I said, it's emotional with them. So that's kind of what I have to say about your fears. So think about now, like, once you're kind of over that, like, what should I be posting about? How should I use my Facebook? Well, what I should say is, at least for me, I make every post count. Every single post that I make, I think about it and I make it count. You want to first think about your content of your posts, right? So you want to always add value to the people that are seeing your page. You want to think of your target market. Who are you trying to attract? What would you like to be seeing? What do you want to read about? So, for me, like, I'd like to see some recipes, maybe some organizing tips, post about, like, different TV shows that I like, maybe like grocery shopping and budgeting, whatever, post about whatever it is that interests you in your life. And make it eye-catching. Like, I always like to do selfies, because it's your Facebook page. Like, when you build up your followers, people want to see you. They don't want to just see, like, text or whatever. I never just write text. I always pair my posts with, like, an eye-catching picture, or I'll put, like, emojis. I'm trying to tone it down a little bit with the emojis, but you always want to make people stop to see what you're posting about. And it's so important to really never, ever be negative on your page. Never complain about anything. And if you're discussing something negative that happened to you, maybe like in the past, or something you're struggling with, always make sure that when you're posting about that, you always pair it with a positive outcome. Like, what did I do to make this situation more tolerable? You never, and for me, like, I really don't get involved in uh, like political things and, controversial topics. I never post about that because, you want to remain neutral to those kind of things. Because I don't know. I mean, I have opinions, but I'm not going to, uh, like, right on my Facebook wall them. I'm not going to complain about whatever, because I don't want people to have that image of me. I don't want people to think that this person is just posting and complaining all the time, because we all know how freaking annoying that is, right? Like, we all have people on our Facebook that we see, F this, F that, oh, blah, 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 and complaining. And I unfollow that person because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see negative crap on my Facebook wall. All I want to see is positive things. So keep that in mind. Like, when you're posting, don't be negative. Um, you also want to think about the timing of your posts. That's super important. When is your niche market online? When are the people in your target market, when are they most likely to see your posts? And this is like a trial and error thing. It's not something that I can tell you specifically, like, post at this time every single day, and that's when you're going to get the most interaction. You kind of just have to wait out and see, and post different things at different times and see when those posts get the most interaction. So for me, I like to start my morning off with something like really inspirational. And then, I'll do some kind of Beachbody post like later on, and then I'll post something funny. And then I'll post something in the evening. I don't know. Like, I kind of just wing it with my stuff, but you can have a schedule. I know that that's helpful to some people, that maybe posting doesn't come as naturally to you as it would for me. But make it a point to post to Facebook at least 3 times a day. And I'm not saying 3 times as in, posting about Beachbody stuff 3 times a day. I'm saying 3 times a day minimum, getting a post out. You just want to reflect that you have a positive, healthy, and happy life. That's what you want people to see. And it's not always going to be about Beachbody, because, yeah, that'd be annoying as hell if the only thing people ever saw was you talking about coaching or transformation or whatever. Like, you don't want to do that. You also want to think about the look. Like I said before, eye-catching. You don't want to post up dark and dingy pictures that are blurry. You don't want to post a picture that has like so much stuff going on and people don't really know what to look at. You want it to be clean and crisp and not like overloaded with different words and pictures or whatever. And you also want to think about how you're wording your posts. You want to try to not make them so lengthy. Like, you really want to try to build up your credibility first. Like, before you sit there and write out like 5 paragraphs, you might not have the following of people yet who's actually going to sit there and like read through that whole thing. So try to make it, couple paragraphs, maybe 1, 2, break it up with emoji. I like doing like bullet points to kind of break things down, spacing. And you always want to do, like, if it's a coach post or an invite to a challenge group, you want to do a call to action. So like that would be, if this relates to any of you at all, like this comment, message me, whatever. That would be a call to action. And again, I know in the beginning, sometimes it's like you're making a post that is so meaningful to you and you take all this time. I mean, I've spent an hour before, like writing out a post. Um, and then I'd post it and I'd get like 3 likes. I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, like this means so much to me and it's so emotional to me and only 3 people liked it. um, don't be upset if that's what happens. Keep posting. Don't say like, oh, only 3 people care. Well, I'm going to be done. Like, I'm not going to post anymore. Um, like I said, you have to gain your credibility. You have to keep doing it. People have to keep seeing your stuff. And that's when you're going to get people who have seen your journey and they're going to start coming to you and asking you for advice. I can't tell you how many people like come to me now and just say, Debbie, like, I want to be part of what you're doing. Let me buy a challenge pack from you. Like, I don't even have to ask them because I'm consistent with my stuff. I post all the time. And, I don't have this like overwhelming fear of rejection anymore. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. I didn't want to make it super, super long, but I am going to open up the floor for anyone who wants to ask questions while I take a sip of wine.
Talk.
Me.
How do I ask a question?
I can hear you.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so I wrote out my first post and I really wanted to post it tonight. But I'm, like I said, I'm really scared. But it's about the postpartum depression, and that is kind of where my goal is, because I've been dealing with it for the last 6 months and it's been awful. But finding Alexis and her and all that stuff, like, she's been amazing, and focusing on me and my health and all that stuff, like, I really want to start helping out other moms. So should I stay away from posting about postpartum depression in the beginning, or should I just kind of just go with it and kind of open up my heart and say, here, this is what it is?
I would open up, girl. I mean, honestly, the scareder you are, word. The more scared you are, honestly, you post about that, the more healing it's going to be for you. I mean, I have to tell you, I struggled with that too after my second son. I had some of that going on, and I actually was on some medications for it, and so I can relate, and I know what that's like. I didn't have it like so severe or anything, but as a new mom, you feel like you should be happy, and sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
Right. No, it's
And you know what, like, I know it's easy for me to say, like, don't be scared because you are, but all I can say is, I mean, I've posted about so many things, and every time I post, it's kind of like a relief. It's like, I'm sharing this with you because I want to help you. I want people to know that I've dealt with this, and I'm, either in the process of trying to overcome it, or I have overcome it because of what I've been doing in my life. You want to, give people hope that,
right.
So it's like, what are you really afraid of? I mean, are you afraid that people are going to judge you? Like, are you afraid that people are going to think negative of you because you're posting? I'm telling you, like, people won't. Like, if you post something like that, it would take some balls for someone to come to you and be like, what the hell are you posting that about for? No. I posted before about, like, I tried to commit suicide, and I mean, I guess that could have been something controversial. Some people might have thought differently about me or whatever, but I didn't care because I'm not posting it for that negative person. I'm posting it to reach someone that is struggling with that.
Right. Right. It's Yeah, no, I agree. I think I'm going to do it. After this, I'm going to do
Yeah. Yeah, do
it.
it. I mean, don't be afraid. And like I said, it really is healing. I mean, I gotta tell you, I've been in therapy for, well, I haven't been, but I had been in therapy pretty much my whole life,
Yeah,
honestly. And going through my physical transformation, as you know, along with my the business and doing the personal development and things like that, and having this community of women has been more healing for me than years of therapy. And I'm not saying don't go to therapy,
no.
but I'm saying that, like I did the work on my own. Like I did this. Like I took action to make changes in my life, and that can happen for other people. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want other people to experience the joy that I have in my life now. And I want people to know that they can have that too. So that's what I do when I post. Like I want to give hope to people. So
Right,
I
right.
say go for it.
Okay.
Just, yeah, go for it.
All right.
And if you, I mean, I'm sure Alexis, ooh, can you guys still see me? What
Yeah,
happened? Okay. Um, I'm sure, Alexis would look over it for you. I mean, I'll look over it if you want me to, like, and I can give you my criticisms, like constructive criticism. I would never say anything, I mean, bad about your feelings or whatever. Like I would just give you any constructive criticism I have, because I've posted a lot of stuff. So
yeah, I'll send it to you. Alexis looked at it too this afternoon and she liked it and she critiqued it, but I'll send it to you
yeah,
too before I
yeah,
do the final post. Maybe I'll post a picture of my daughter too, and that way, like you said, it at least relates to, because it does relate to Lucy. I mean, she's half of the reason that I'm doing this. So
is she
it's,
your only child?
yes,
How old is she?
6 months.
Oh, so
So
cute.
yeah, she's fun.
Yeah. What I would do is are you married? Are you in
No,
a
not yet.
relationship? Not yet. um what I would do is maybe try to, like, if you don't have someone to take a picture of you and your baby, I would try to do like a selfie with you, holding your child, just being happy,
Oh,
um,
I like that.
something like that. Because like I said, like people want to see you, and that would totally relate to the post, like, just holding your child and like looking at it was a daughter you said you have?
Yes.
Yeah. So like just looking at your daughter, and smiling, and showing people that, like, hey, like I'm working on this, and I'm not ashamed to tell
Yeah.
people that this is what I'm going through, but I have hope and whatever. So I mean, I'd love to see the post, but that's what I would pair it with, is just, be simple, like a picture of you and your daughter, being happy together. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else have questions or want to talk about anything? It doesn't have to relate to this. I want you guys to know, like, I just kind of try to come up with these topics according to what you guys tell me you're struggling with, but, you can always ask me anything else if you need. Anyone? Danielle, you don't have any questions? No?
No, sorry.
All
Had
right,
to.
you're fine. All right, well, I guess I will end the call. Thank you guys so much for joining. It, like I say every time, the people that show up to these really shows me your dedication, and it just makes me so happy to know that, you guys really want to grow your business, and this is the way to do it. You join the calls, do personal development, and as usual, you guys know that you can always come to me for anything. So enjoy your night. Thank you for
Right.
joining.
Thank you.
Bye.